Beauty to me means really feeling good from the inside out. Beauty, I think a lot of times people think, oh, it's just the outer appearance, but really beauty has to start with, within yourself. So doing things every day just to make yourself feel good, whether it's waking up in the morning, doing a 5-minute meditation, going for a soft walk, or, giving a little extra care to your skin in the morning or the evening, those things that are going to make you feel good inside, that's going to radiate outwards as well. So I really do think, as cliche as it is, beauty starts from within. It's so true.
Welcome to the Beauty Talk podcast, where we feature how the best medical practitioners help their patients to look better, younger, and healthier. Now, enjoy the show, and here's your host.
Daniel Gao here. I'm the host of Beauty Talk. We feature the top medical practitioners in health and beauty, both inside and out. I have Alexis Zimmerman, a master esthetician for over 14 years. She has worked in many different settings, including day spa, laser center, and for a plastic surgeon before deciding to go off on her own in 2017 and create Flawless Skin. She went from being a one-woman show to now a team of 8. She loves all areas of skin and aesthetics, but is often drawn to the more advanced services like Morpheus 8, SkinPen, and Clear and Brilliant. So Alexis, welcome and glad to have you here.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yes, let's start off with, how did you first get interested in medicine?
Yeah, so I honestly didn't really know much about it growing up as far as skincare and things. Of course, knew the typical like go to the store and buy your over-the-counter stuff. Didn't really, do too much with my skin until about my early 20s. I was battling some acne of my own and had kind of sought out an esthetician in hopes to hopefully clear my skin and help me out. And as soon as I met her and she started working with me and doing my skin, I was super, super intrigued by the whole aesthetics world. And as she was helping make me feel better about my skin, I knew, okay, I want to do this. So I asked her all the questions, how do I go to school? What do I do? Where can I go to find, this type of job and do this? And she kind of told me, find a local aesthetics school. And that kind of was like, my first foot in. And then I went to school, went right into my master program after my professional, and haven't looked back since.
Oh, wow. Okay. And so
Yeah.
that's what led you to work for all those different types of practices, the day spa, the plastic surgeon, and all that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So once I had finished school, I was like, okay, I just want to get my foot in the door somewhere. And I worked for like a larger massage and facial type company, like a, well-known company, worked there for a little bit, then got an offer to kind of go and work for a plastic surgeon and get to do a little bit of that day spa side while working with him. And then, from there got an offer at a laser center. So I had kind of trickled into all these different avenues and finding kind of what I felt like I liked the most. And then I was at a med spa right before going off on my own for about 3 years. And I kind of liked the mix of doing a little bit of, your pampering and typical day spa stuff, as well as mixing in some of, the lasers and deeper peels and things. So I kind of knew I had a love for both. And I just wanted to find a way to kind of incorporate both and start my own business.
Okay. So what was it that caused you to want to start your own business? So what was that really that catalyst that made you want to be like, you know what, I want to do my own thing?
Yeah, so I kind of think it was a mix of, kind of feeling like I had tapped out my potential in the space that I was in the med spa that I was in. I was their lead esthetician. I had full client books. People were waiting to get on my schedule. So I kind of knew, okay, I've honed in on my skill and I know people like me and like, receiving treatments from me, but how much further can I grow here? And so I kind of started to think, all right, I've learned a lot here. I know how to do pretty much all of the back end just by being their head esthetician. So maybe I could take, the skills I've learned and the years of experience and kind of mesh that into my own thing and know the good and the bad of what I want out of my business, what I don't want out of my business, what I've learned, through working for other people. And I honestly just took a leap of faith. I didn't know really what I was doing. I kind of just thought, well, I'm not going to know unless I try. So I just decided to go off on my own.
Well, I mean, it's been successful. You grew to a team of 8, so
Yeah.
couldn't have been so
Yeah.
bad. Okay, so Alexis, now that you have your practice, what would you say are some of the common treatments that your clients and your patients come to you for?
Yeah, I would say it's a good mix. We kind of say that we're like a boutique med spa, whereas we still have that relaxing comfort of a day spa mixed in with the technology and kind of high level lasers and things like that. So we do have a good mix. I would say most of the time clients are coming in for like a monthly membership treatment, whether it be a dermaplaning facial or a relaxing custom facial, chemical peels. But then a good amount still do come in and kind of transfer over into the realm of more of the advanced stuff. So we do a ton of SkinPen microneedling. We do a lot of chemical peels. The VI peel is one of our favorites. We even have Morpheus 8, so we have that radio frequency microneedling. So we kind of mix, a little bit of both. I think a lot of our clients start off finding us and learning about us and coming in for more of that relaxing treatment. And then as they grow with us and learn more about the services we offer, we oftentimes transfer them over to the advanced stuff too.
Okay. Now, I also want to ask about SkinPen because that's something that I haven't heard about. So, what is SkinPen?
Yeah, so SkinPen is microneedling. SkinPen is just the actual device we use. It's the first device that was FDA cleared. It's kind of like the well-known name in terms of if anybody ever talks of microneedling, most of the time you'll hear SkinPen get thrown around. That's kind of the big named device. We love it. It's magnificent. It never really runs any chance of error. It's a great safe device. And it's really the number one device we use for microneedling. Of course, we mix different things in from time to time where we'll do, some sort of different serums in with microneedling, or right now we've just kind of dove into the world of like salmon DNA. So we're using boosters and such like that to kind of pair with it. But microneedling in itself, we just find that basically any client's going to benefit from it. So it's one of our top favorite treatments to perform, on pretty much anybody.
Okay. So, with microneedling, for people who are not aware of what microneedling is, my understanding is that you're basically it's a micro needle. So you're basically like poking people's skin with it. And my understanding is to help it. I guess it's damaging it to make it grow back and come back better and build the collagen. Is that correct, or is there
Exactly.
more? Okay.
Yeah, we kind of tell clients if you think about it in terms of it's a controlled injury,
Mm,
we are going in and we're injuring the skin, forcing it to then kind of force that cell turnover and that healing, boosting collagen and elastin production. It's great for clients with like acne scarring, pigmentation, fine lines and wrinkles. It's kind of, I feel like a lot of clients will come to us if they're a little scared of going down the injectable route, but they want something to really start kickstarting that anti-aging routine.
mhm.
It's a great way to stimulate that collagen and elastin, and it's all controlled. So we're able to, determine the depths that we're going on certain parts of the face. So, bonier areas, say under eyes, forehead, we're going to dial that back. And then some of those thicker areas like cheeks, we can dial it up. And that's where it really is kind of controlled and helps to really get deeper. And it's like I said, a controlled injury. So we're stimulating that healing process to occur.
Okay. And when the skin does heal, I guess what's the end result from microneedling? Is it that the skin looks more radiant? Is it that you're tightening the skin, like, or that you're just healing the skin, like you mentioned acne scars, like, or is it all of the above, or like what's the end result from it?
Yeah, we kind of say it's a little bit of everything. The one thing that I typically will tell clients, if you're looking for a lifting and tightening effect, that's not necessarily going to come from SkinPen, although it will give you some glow and, a little bit more of a radiant appearance. It's not going to quote unquote tighten the skin. Although again, it is creating collagen and elastin. It is going to stimulate that skin to become healthier over time. But we kind of say your main result you're going to see is softer appearance and fine lines and wrinkles, smoother tone and texture throughout, and really more of just a soft glow. And again, like I said, with scarring, you'll find that typically with 3 to 6 treatments, you're going to find a lot of scarring or imperfections of texture are a lot smoother and less noticeable too.
Okay. So those 3 to 6 treatments, is that pretty common across most instances, or is that really just for the acne scarring side?
Yeah, I would say most instances you're going to find that people are doing a package of 3. If they have deeper lines and wrinkles, deeper scarring, where maybe we need to kind of dial it up each time and really work deeper into those areas, that's when you're going to find that we're going to go into like the 3+ range. But they're really honestly safe enough. You could do, once a month, once every other month. It's not going to ever harm the skin.
Mhm.
It's more so just kind of getting that good pattern of, okay, hey, let's hit it every, 4 to 6 weeks to really kickstart that stimulation, and then, see how our results are at 3 and go from there.
Okay. So those 4 to 6 weeks, that's about how long you should have in between these treatments.
Yeah, exactly. It's giving your skin enough time to heal. It's obviously, like I said, stimulating that collagen and elastin. Now,
Mhm.
some people, everybody's skin is different, of course. There's some people who want to really kickstart things and they've got an event coming up. They want to get, results as quick as possible. In that case, sometimes we will either combo therapy, we'll do it with something else at the same time, or we'll say, hey, let's push it and, you come back in 3 weeks. So you can play with it a little bit, but the standard ideal client is going to do about 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay. And I'm sure you get this question a lot. Does it hurt?
Yeah, I know everybody, of course, always asks that. So, of course, if you were taking a microneedling device and going to the skin with nothing on it, it's not going to feel pleasant. Although we've had plenty of clients that choose not to use numbing, and they're fine. Again, it's not the most pleasant scenario, but it's not something to make someone run out of the spa.
Mm.
It's more, of course, comfortable if we do use numbing. So that's usually always our protocol. We'll put you in the room, take great pictures, cleanse you, and then we let them relax for about 30 minutes with some numbing on. We come in, and most clients say they feel really nothing, more of just like a heat or sunburn sensation after. But the actual device itself and the treatment itself is not painful.
Okay. Now, you did mention earlier that you mix some things along with the microneedling. So you mentioned like salmon, I think it was salmon sperm.
Yep.
So is that something that like you do the microneedling first and then you put the salmon sperm on top of that, or something that you kind of put inside the microneedling and it's kind of like pushing it deeper into the skin?
Right. So a lot of places that you'll find that are now using the PDRN or the salmon DNA, salmon sperm, they're going to do a little mix of both. You could, in fact, put it on the skin and then microneedle it in. For us, we like to perform the microneedling as is with the glide that we're given from SkinPen. It's a great hyaluronic acid. So it's going to kind of help to glide that device along and plump and hydrate you. And then we're going in and we're putting the boosters or the healing essence, that salmon DNA, on after. And then what it's going to do, depending on the booster we're using, the healing essence is great. It's going to speed up healing. It's going to calm the skin, calm the redness. Different boosters we have, one for aging, so great for stimulating that collagen and elastin. We have one for tone, so pigmentation. So we can really like play and customize it to whatever the client needs or wants. But you can in fact do both. You can needle it in almost like laying it on like a serum and then microneedling that in, or apply it after. We just find that you're going to get more of the benefit of it kind of calming the skin and still, being able to be delivered really deep, applying it right after the service.
Okay. And when it comes to you mentioned the combo treatments. What's really the benefits of doing the combo treatments, and really in what scenarios would someone want to consider doing combo treatments?
Yeah, I love combo therapy. It's kind of where I find myself feeling the most creative,
Mm.
because not one treatment is going to be a one size fits all. If I come in and I say, hey, I really want to work on anti-aging, but I also really have this pigment. I might say, okay, well, one device I have is going to knock out your pigment, no problem. And then one device I have is really meant for more of the anti-aging. That's where I kind of get to have fun and pair those together, and really kind of customize a scenario per client. So a lot of times we'll do SkinPen, which is great, again, for that stimulation of collagen and elastin, really anti-aging. And then we'll pair it with like the clear and brilliant laser, which is great for resurfacing and texture and pigment. So we're getting the best of both worlds in one sitting so that somebody doesn't have to prolong a series of treatments. Again, say they're in a time crunch, they have a wedding coming up, a reunion, and they really want to just hit the ground running, get the best results. I oftentimes will combine treatments to get that result even faster.
Okay. So when you're combining it, it's a matter of speed, like getting results a little bit faster. Also, efficacy.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for something very specific or a couple of things that you need specifically, it's a matter of just using each of those treatment methods to treat that one thing, but you have a couple of things you can get taken care of.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, of course, every device out there is going to say, hey, we do X, Y, and Z.
Mhm.
But we often find that each device has its like powerhouse of what it treats,
Mm,
whether it's a peel for that retexture, or again, like the clear and brilliant for pores and pigment. Every treatment we find is really good at, one or two things. So to give somebody one treatment and say, hey, it's going to fix everything, in a perfect world, it would, but we
mm,
know as the professionals, hey, if we combine this and this, it's going to make those results even better. So that's a lot of times what we'll do. We kind of, again, customize, per client, what little combo treatment would be the best for them.
got it. Okay. Now, I'm sure you get a lot of misconceptions or myths that you hear from your clients and your patients. What would you say are some of the most common misconceptions that you hear?
Yeah, in terms of like treatments and
Yeah,
things.
treatments.
Yeah. Honestly, one that we often hear, that's kind of been put out there through, maybe some bad scenarios that have happened in the past, or just social media in general. A lot of people will want to know more about like Morpheus 8, which is a radio frequency microneedling. And that's really great for tightening. It's definitely a treatment that we don't always say is like needed for everyone. We'll have younger clients come in and they'll just hear Morpheus 8 and think, oh, I want it, but they might not need it.
Mhm.
But it is a treatment that's meant to tighten, it's meant to smooth scarring, it's meant to help with fine lines and wrinkles. It really does encompass a lot of different indications and issues, but there is always this big stigma out there that people come in and say, well, I heard that people can get really disfigured from this, or that it will melt fat and it'll age the skin faster. And while the machine does in fact do, fat melting, it has to be at a certain setting, and it has to be done, repetitively, like repetitively on somebody's skin for that to really take place. So while yes, that is in fact something that machine does, it's very, very, very unlikely that you're going to have that happen to you if you're going to the right provider, if they know the right settings. We would never use, fat melting settings on somebody's face where they didn't need it. Typically, we're using those settings on body.
Mhm.
But you will hear a ton of people say, well, I saw on TikTok or I saw on Instagram that it will melt all the fat in your face. And again, it's kind of like, well, that's not really true unless the provider is doing that setting for that reason. So that's probably the biggest like myth we hear in terms of treatments.
Okay, good to know. Now, I want to shift over the focus to your team. In your introduction, I mentioned you started just yourself, and then now you have a team of 8. So, what was it like building that team of, I guess, I mean, to have a team that size, they have to be like-minded. You have to kind of all have the same direction, the same vision. What was it like building that team? It couldn't have been easy.
Yeah, well, honestly, it kind of fell into my lap in a way. I had never really thought that's what I would do when I first decided to go off on my own. I kind of thought, okay, I'm going to go off on my own and I'll be by myself and I'll treat my clients and I'll ride off into the sunset, right? Like I didn't think, oh, I'm going to build this huge, med spa. Although back, when I first started out in aesthetics and in school, I always thought, how cool would it be to have my own spa one day? But it was just more of like a thought or a dream in the back of my mind. It didn't necessarily start out knowing I was going to do that. So I went off on my own, worked for about a year and some change. And then I thought, okay, now that I'm getting in the groove and I'm learning more about the business, like how am I going to scale to not just be the only person working, 7 days a week, 12-hour days? Like my body's going to not be able to handle this
Mm,
for so long. So I kind of thought, oh, maybe I'll hire one person and she
mm,
can come in on like the days I'm not here and we can kind of share a room. And so that's how it started. And then from there, we kind of grew and outgrew that room very quickly. And I thought, okay, now I'm going to need a bigger space. And so I got a bigger space. And then I had that opportunity and room to then hire on more. But I was really hesitant because I've heard, horror stories from friends or other business owners like, oh my gosh, employees are, the hardest part of a business. And while it's true, it can also be the best part of a business too.
mm,
So I think as the years went on, I was really selective of who I brought in to be part of the team. And honestly, now like my group of girls, I just feel like we're family. Like they're all sisters, and I almost feel like a mom to a lot of them. They're maybe not as long in the industry as me, but I just love that ability to kind of teach and lead. And I never thought I would, but now that I do, I can't imagine not.
Okay. So, I mean, to be able to build a team like that, I mean, having the like-mindedness and really building that culture. I mean, it's not easy, but obviously you've built this great successful spa, and then lots of people come to you for your services and for your help. Now, I'm curious, is let's say that a consumer, somebody's looking to get some type of aesthetic treatment done, some type of aesthetic procedure done, but maybe they're not around your area or they're in different parts of the country. How would they choose which provider to go to? The one that has that experience, that has that knowledge, and can really get them a good result? Like, what should they keep an eye out for?
Yeah, so we kind of love if clients call and, do a little consult over the phone or tell us a little bit about themselves. Like we honestly say all of our clients are like family. We love to learn about, their wants, their needs, their friends, events they have coming up. So we really create like a little, like you said, like a little culture, like a little family. So anytime that maybe we have a client calling, we'll kind of get to know them a little bit through the phone call. Tell us a little bit about yourself. What kind of treatment are you looking for? What do you like? What do you not like? And just by having that quick conversation with them, we can really pinpoint in our mind, oh, they'd be great to go with, this provider, or, oh, this provider is going to be the perfect match for them. And we oftentimes will, suggest for clients to follow us on social media, look at our website, read a little bit about each provider, and really just kind of see who you feel like you're going to mesh well with, as well as come in for a consult. There are times where maybe someone will come in and a provider will see them for a consult, and then they'll say, I actually think that this client would be really great for so and so because that's her line of expertise. Everybody has like their own little way of doing things, of course following all under the same protocols, but really just kind of like honing in on their skills. And so we can oftentimes pair them with the right person before they even walk in the door.
Okay, that's good to know then.
Yeah.
Now, Alexis, you did allude to this a little bit earlier on, but I'm curious as far as what role, I guess, how important is creativity in what you do and how you approach your patient care? Because you mentioned you do this mostly with your combo treatments, but I think when most people think about medicine, creativity is not necessarily the first word that comes to mind. So could you talk a little bit about how much creativity plays a role in what you do?
Yeah, definitely. I know a lot of times when you're thinking of like a clinical setting, you're not necessarily thinking of that like artistic mind or that creativity, but it is a big factor. And I think the best estheticians and the best providers out there have that in them and they know how to utilize it. Because it almost, as fun as the aesthetics industry is, it can almost get repetitive or stale if you're not, zoning into that creativity. So there'll be days, maybe I'm doing four of the same treatments back to back, but really being able to get each client in the room and look at their skin and kind of use, the skills that I have and the products that I have to say, ooh, this would be really great if I mix this, or I really think, doing this with this would be, beneficial for the outcome they're looking for. So it is fun to kind of get that little bit of creativity and work it into each individual client. And same with treatment methods. Like, again, I said, combining those therapies and really getting to kind of sit back and think, all right, these are the issues at hand. How can I create a perfect treatment plan for this client? Like it really is fun to kind of get to utilize all the skills that each person has.
Okay, that's a great way of putting it. Now,
Yeah.
I'm sure, Alexis, that in the time you've had your practice, you've, I'm sure, tackled some challenging cases or at least memorable ones that really stand out in your mind. Is there maybe one story that really stands out in your mind as far as someone that came in, maybe it was a tough case or that person was experiencing something tough, and how you were able to get them a great outcome in the end?
Yeah, definitely. There's always one story that sticks out in my mind, and it's when I was honestly first kind of starting off on my own. I was just had started Flawless Skin, and I was, seeing any client that would come by or call, and there happened to be a client that was just in town for the weekend. I had never met her before. She was traveling down from Pennsylvania and just wanted a relaxing facial. So I got her in, was doing the facial, and I had noticed there was a teeny little spot kind of close to her ear, almost in her hairline. And I thought to myself, it looks a little strange. Let me ask her about it. Have you always had this little spot? And she didn't seem to know really which spot I was talking about. So I took a picture, then showed her, and it was definitely out of her own eyesight for every day. And she said, I don't think it's been there, but I'm not sure. And I was like, well, it looks a little strange to me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to diagnose, but it would make me feel a lot more comfortable if when you're home, make a dermatologist appointment. And she's like, okay, I'll do that. I haven't seen a derm in years. I'll have to find one, blah, blah, blah. She left, went about her day. I then got a call about 3 weeks later where she was thanking me. She had gone to a derm right when she got back, and the dermatologist had told her it was melanoma and it needed to be removed right away.
Wow.
And that if she had left it and not known about it, or found it, when she did, it could have been a completely different outcome for her. So
Wow.
she's safe, happy, and healthy now, but she, honestly couldn't thank me enough. And it was just a chance encounter that she happened to be on my treatment,
Mhm.
table, and found me and was doing a treatment with me that weekend. And so she, was super thankful that I was able to at least notice it and say, hey, get this checked when you're back home. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really incredible story, just because it really shows what can happen when you actually go to an expert, when you go to someone who knows what they're doing. Because I mean, this person, like, that could have cost her life, which is actually,
absolutely.
it's pretty incredible. Like, it's because I ask other people, other providers, like, about stories like this, and there's more than a handful that's like they're able to catch things like this, and it's like, hey, I know something off. You get this, you should get this checked out, and it's like they end up saving that person's life. So
Yeah.
that's why I think it's so critical that you go to someone who is that expert, who is just that fountain of knowledge. Because again, like, when it comes to your health, you can't play around with your health.
Absolutely. Yeah. And again, like most estheticians, we're seeing things on clients, here and there. And there are clients that I see monthly, that I've seen for the last 10 years. And I know their skin. I mean, I can close my eyes and I can picture their skin. I know, their little mole here or their little, spot by their eyebrow here. So even like evolving with an esthetician over time, they're going to be able to say, hey, this is new or that's different, and really be able to be like that first line of defense of like, hey, go get this checked. I'm not going to diagnose you, but I know your skin well enough. And this wasn't there, 3 months ago. And they might not even notice it, even though they see their skin every day. So it is really important to just have even a relationship with, a medical provider or an esthetician who's looking at things that you might miss.
Mhm. Very, very well said and well put. Great advice, by the way.
Yeah. Thank
Now,
you.
Alexa, I'm curious, where do you think the future of aesthetics is going?
Oh gosh, it's so fun because it's always changing.
Mhm.
I never get bored with skincare. There's so many times where I'm in a treatment with client and they're mentioning something to me that I haven't even heard of. I
Mhm.
love like the I saw on TikTok and I'm like, really? I've never even heard of this. So it's always changing, it's always evolving. I think people are now so open to skincare treatments where it used to be, 10, 15 years ago, women would get their hair done and their nails done like there's no tomorrow, but skin was kind of an afterthought. Whereas
Mhm.
now I think it's shifting and skin is really becoming, a top priority. And
Mhm.
I think, in the years to come, I do think that even your body is going to then become more of a like a statement to where, okay, I've been taking care of my face, I've been taking care of my neck, but what about, this on my body or that on my body? I think body skincare, products and treatments is now becoming super popular as well. I'm
Mhm.
finding clients are more so coming in and asking like, well, what about, a treatment on my chest, or what can I do for my arms, or what about the skin on my legs? So I think they're now, as a consumer starting to realize, okay, the skin is not just on my face and neck, it's my entire outer,
Mhm.
being. So I think we will see kind of a shift in more of full body treatments as time progresses.
Mhm. Okay. And for your practice, flawless skin, what's your vision for your practice?
I mean, I love to kind of always daydream and think of the future. Now, in the last few years of becoming a business owner, I think it's just molded to kind of how I am. I'm
Mhm.
very type A, very, I'm a Capricorn. I'm very driven and focused. So I'm always thinking into the future of where we're going next. And I think I would say within about maybe a year to 2 years, I could see us expanding. I could see us bringing on an injector. That's
Mhm.
something that a lot of clients are asking about more and more. So it is something that's top priority on our minds. As well as maybe expanding some of our treatments. We really do focus mainly on skin and, aesthetics treatments, but I would love to see, if an expansion is in the future, maybe even bringing on like body work or massage therapists. And really just kind of keeping that core value of the team intact. I think that's always been, my goal as I have grown. I'm really, really particular of who I want in the spa, who I bring on. So I don't want to, dream too far in advance and think, oh, I just want to get as big as I possibly can, but not keep that core value and that family kind of feeling in the spa as well. So as much as I'd love to say, we're going to grow overnight, I think it will be, within a year or two, we can expect to see some expansion in those realms.
Okay. Well, I love that you brought the core values because many successful businesses, they start with the core values. You need to have the core values first. So I'm glad that you brought that up. But it looks like the future is going to be very, very bright for your practice.
Thank you.
So, Alexis, I have one last question for you, but before I ask it, I do want to point people to your website at flawlessskinvb.com.
Yep.
Now, last question for you is what does beauty mean to you?
Beauty to me means really feeling good from the inside out. Beauty, I think a lot of times people think, oh, it's just the outer appearance, but really beauty has to start with, within yourself. So doing things every day just to make yourself feel good, whether it's waking up in the morning, doing a 5-minute meditation, going for a soft walk, or, giving a little extra care to your skin in the morning or the evening, those things that are going to make you feel good inside, that's going to radiate outwards as well. So I really do think, as cliche as it is, beauty starts from within. It's so true. So just being kind to yourself, taking care of yourself, finding that time for self-care, that's really where you're going to find like the true inner beauty that's going to shine outwards.
Well, there you have it. Alexis sharing her expertise. So, Alexis, where can people contact you in the practice?
Yeah, so they can reach out. Obviously, our website, like you had already mentioned, you can contact us there. You can also find us on social media, Flawless Skin VB on Instagram and TikTok, as well as Facebook. You can always just shoot us a DM on Instagram. You can find our number and email on our website as well. You can always drop a line that way as well. And I am the owner, but I am still in a treatment room, 3 to 4 days a week. So I kind of play, a couple different roles in the building, but I'm always there to answer questions or, help clients in any way I can. So although, I might not be the one answering the phone, like I'm very, very much so involved and willing to help in any way I can. So I always love to hear from anybody.
Awesome. Well, Alexis, this is awesome. Thanks for coming on. Thanks for sharing your
Absolutely.
knowledge and your expertise, and thanks for sharing your message.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Beauty Talk podcast. Any questions, please contact the practice directly with the contact information provided during the show. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.